just finished taking apart and cleaning up this pickup. Melody mic. It came on a guitar there. Apologies for the background noise. There is a pressure washer being used. So this guitar, I don't know if you can tell, these are Klusons. No line Klusons from about the late 40s. So that helps me date the guitar. It also was converted to a pedal steel. See if that'll focus. At some point in its life, it's got this cool celluloid pickguard. Very cool. And, oh, I drop it. Interestingly enough, it has a mahogany bridge. I had to chisel to get the screws in the bridge out because they are these little doohickeys here, and they kind of stick into the bridge and then screw. So they're really stuck in there. So this guitar I got for about $130. It's a Marathon. Got a mahogany fretboard, which is interesting. And you got double dots on the 3, 9, and 12. The top is probably spruce. It actually looks like it's been refinished, because I don't know if you can see, but there's little dimples in there, like someone who refinished it didn't wet sand it, which I do not think would be common for a guitar right off the line, even in what I presume to be the 1940s. So I think, plus there's no checking, so I think it was refinished. It's got mahogany sides and back. This guitar was clearly on a floor somewhere, being moved around and just tearing it up. It's got brass frets, which are pretty common for that era. And later, they're really big too, which surprises me. Yeah, there's no really identifying markings other than Marathon. There's no model number. Marathon guitars are not exactly well documented. I believe they were probably a model, they were branded. They're probably built by, knowing the time, K or Harmony, something like that. And so branded Marathon. The only ones I can find are these big jumbo guitars that are worth a fair amount, apparently. Ooh, this is always cool. My favorite part is finding the shims that are in these old guitars. So this here is a hop-in, strike-on back. So likely a match cover, or a matchbox cover of some sort. It was folded like that, and this nut was sitting on top of it. It did not actually come with a nut. It just came with that. Yeah, so let's see. Also, surprisingly, it does not need a neck or set. I was looking on trying out my new copy of the Stumac thing I fashioned, and the neck angle is pretty straight. The bridge is actually really tall too. But, so even with it, I put a straight edge and it's just under the tip there, which would be a good bridge angle, or neck angle, for a normal sized bridge, which this is not. Plus mahogany, you can tell here, it cracked. Mahogany is not the best choice in the world for a bridge. but it looks cool. It's a bridge for a separate guitar. Yeah, I'm fascinated by these Klusons because honestly, if I can clear off here, bring the guitar around, it looked like no one had taken these Klusons off. Because when I pulled the screws out, little bits of wood shavings came out of the hole, which is pretty indicative of them not having, the screws haven't been taken out before. And the backs of them are pretty pristine. Got these massive brass shafts for the tuners, and the buttons with the crumbling plastic. So I think that's super cool. The neck is massive. Thick baseball bat size neck. If I get a straight edge here, or not straight, a ruler. A little over 1 inch thick, and that's about midway, so it only gets thicker. Let's go ahead and set that there. The pickup is interesting. What I found shows 1960s. I've never heard of a melody mic. I brought it up to a guy at the local guitar shop. He had never heard of it. The design's kind of interesting. So you got a pickup here on this little swivel. And what happens is this little swiveling part goes underneath into the sound hole, and this pickup sits, or this little bit here sits on top, so it kind of suspends it. This little rotary arm with a volume knob. So I looked inside of it. It's a CTS pot. It's soldered to this plate, so I wasn't able to get a date on it, unfortunately. And this goes on here to obviously cushion it. So I don't have an exact date. I didn't really want to unsolder the pot from the thing, but it's got a DACA-ware knob, which is common in old Ks and old radios. It sounds fairly nice. This pickup does. It's connected to a jack, which is interesting. Not the most economical, I guess, if you're looking for long cable length. But another thing I love is the just how you can see the impression of where the pickguard was. Like how the pickguard has blocked the UV rays from tinting the lacquer. And the pickguard is slightly transparent, so this is not likely the original color, but it's pretty close, closer than the rest of it. Yeah, so I've never encountered one of these guitars before, so it's quite interesting to see, especially one so old. I mean, I bought it because it looked like these were Kluson no-line tuners, and honestly looks like they are in fairly good condition. Apologies if the camera wiggles some. I've never really done that before. Yeah, so I bought this. I was going to use it to test out my new neck reset machine jig here, but it doesn't need it. It needs a new bridge, and that is a new bridge and a new nut, and that is it. And this guitar will be ready to play. And this pickup works fine right off the bat, which was cool. I was hoping it would. And yeah, so only, I think, $130, $140 after shipping. Marathon. Super cool. Ladder braced, it looks like a lot of these guitars were. And yeah, so that's that.